say this, he doesn't bullshit you, he doesn't beat around the bush, he'll give it to you straight, and sometimes that hurts.
Life is much better. Life, when you are anger aware and anger free, your life is better.
By the grace of God, we were introduced to Dr. Leonard, and he has certainly opened up a whole new world for us.
Mom and Dad don't explain it like Dr. Ingram does. Miss Robinson doesn't woof it out like Dr. Ingram does. He is a master of anger management.
I don't need you. I don't care how bright you are. I care about your 3.5 average. Who cares about that? You don't have the ability to get along well with other human beings. Now make a note. The greatest predictor of failure is the inability to interact harmoniously with other human beings.
I do a lot of work within prisons. I deal with delinquent adolescents. I have clients coming in who are domestic batterers. These are men who actually are beating their wife and their children. These are not choir boys. So when you enter into this kind of work with them, you have to have a certain toughness because they will intimidate you. And I think that I have been able to transcend and not react to that kind of intimidation when dealing with very tough people simply because I've lived in that kind of environment growing up. So my life experiences combined with my academic experiences uniquely positions me to do this kind of work.
What is anger? How do you become angry in the first place? You got to find out in order to control it. You can't control what you don't understand.
I have seen firsthand the kind of damage that results when people lack the ability to manage their anger. I've seen the families that were ruined. I've seen children that were scarred. I've seen the damage that it does in the workplace when you have a disgruntled and angry employee. I have also seen firsthand how quickly that whole situation can be turned around once the individual has been given those sets of basic emotional skills and insight that enables them to manage their anger appropriately. So anger management not only will improve your life and give you more peace, more calm, because remember, you can't be happy and angry simultaneously. That never happens, you see.
So you need to learn how to solve problems. And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to give you some skills and some tools that you can use so that you don't have to be here no more. Are we going to try to rehabilitate Miss Robertson when we have him down in Stateville?
No, sir.
Are we going to give him a class like this?
Not Stateville.
What you got coming when we send him to Stateville?
Nothing.
Nothing. We're going to lock you up.
Right.
Pure and simple. In Stateville, we do one thing only. We punish.
Right.
That's it. For crimes against society. That's why you go to prison. You committed a crime against society. We're telling you this because I don't want to see you in Stateville. You're going to reap what you sow. There's consequences for your action. Can't let you loose in this world with you thinking that there ain't no consequences for your action.
Our success rate to date, we have serviced over 753 children in this courtroom. Out of those 753, only 69 have reoffended and only 4 are currently sitting in jail. When I'm in court and Judge Powers, who is our current judge, says, "Kid, what was the favorite part of the program for community service?" 8 out of 10 say, "Your Honor, anger management."
When I meet with the client, the first thing I ask the client is, why do they think they have an anger management problem in the first place?
Why don't you just saying that because I curse a lot and I punch holes in the wall and I kick the dog and, but as he saying all this thing, it dawns on him, all right, that, maybe I do have an anger management problem. What I do in the first phase, I try to get the client to recognize, to come out of denial, because that's always the first step in any kind of therapy, and it's no different than anger management. The client must be able to come out of denial for the healing and recovery and rehabilitative process to strictly begin.
And so they tell me their story. He may say something like, well, we were having a barbecue, and we had a couple of friends over, and we were engaged in conversation. And then we hit upon one of these controversial topics, and we were trading opinions and so forth. And my wife, you see, suddenly attacked my position, you know. I mean, out of nowhere. And he said, and it was so embarrassing. And I became so angry, I kicked the damn grill over. And he said, wow, I lost it. So the story, the identifying of the triggers, ultimately helps us pinpoint those attitudes that has to be changed, overcome, and then replaced with more functional and realistic attitude. The way I accomplish that is a thing called homework. Homework that I gave another client was to resist taking things personal. Now that's really interesting, because a lot of their anger was based on them always taking things personal. And so their homework that I gave them was to practice now not reacting to other people's criticism. Very simple on the surface, right? And to keep a journal for me. So the homework will vary. They're like prescriptions based upon the actual person's problems and issues and their history.
The original problem happened when I was 7. It had to do with the divorce and being 7 years old and blaming my mom for the divorce. So I started to, and I generalized that, being young and 7 years old, not knowing anything. And I generalized that, and I turned it into anger against all women. And I realized that was wrong, and that I shouldn't be doing that. And I really wanted to get my anger under control. And one of the things I learned is I learned to read my body talking to him. I noticed when my tension would come about in my thighs. And he said, that's where you push the emotions to. And I don't get that anymore. Once in a while I will, but it's not as intense. I don't take things personally, and things kind of roll off of me more now than they have. And I just feel a lot better. I'm not in such a aggressive mode anymore.
My wife and I had been having a major blowout about one thing or the other, and it seemed to just get louder and louder and louder. And eventually our neighbors got concerned. We live in a row house, and they were so concerned that they called the police. Well, that was sort of our wake-up call for the need to get a handle on anger. I don't want to be so angry that the police are going to take me away. We contacted Dr. Ingram. We got together, and we began our relationship.
When I find myself confronted with the issues that normally trigger an emotional reaction within myself, I kind of now hear myself saying, okay, just take a deep breath, relax. How are you going to handle this?
We are anger aware, and we are trying to live anger-free lives, and it translates all throughout all elements of our life, the way we conduct our personal lives and business lives and family lives, the way we interact with the world. So it's great work.
So it's again very much like if you're out and about and you're driving, you have to pay attention to the road, to the other traffic on the road, the condition of the road, your car. I mean, there are things you have to pay attention to in order to get safely from point A to B. Well, it's like that. You see, you have to pay attention to what's going on, what you're thinking. You see, what stories are you making up? Catch that. What we call in the business self-talk. What I help my clients to do is to become aware of their self-talk, because a lot of our anger is produced by the talking that we're doing to ourselves about the situation in our heads. So be aware of that. So when you're involved in some negative self-talk, just catch that, and you'll catch the anger. You see. So if you can control your thinking, you control emotions, because emotions are the outcome of your thinking. So I try to help those who come to me really achieve that kind of level of awareness. And if you can drive a car, you can manage your anger. It's really that simple.